Hey everyone, welcome. We're gonna give you all a couple of minutes to all of you to join. We still have more people joining, so.
Yeah, we'll get started here in about a minute.
Eric from Clearwater.
Awesome. Hey, Eric. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining.
What about all of you rest guys? Where are you from?
All right, guys, should we go ahead and get started?
Yes, let's do that.
Sounds
Welcome
great.
everyone. Welcome to this webinar, All on X with hybrid design. My name is Tarik. I'm the Senior Business Development Manager handling design services in Europe. I'm just gonna say hi to all of you and to European customers that are joining here. This is really exciting webinar that Cole and Sam are gonna host. I'm gonna mute myself and then Cole and Sam, they're gonna introduce themselves.
Awesome, thank you, Tarik. My name is Cole. I've been with FullContour now for a little over 2 years. I'm the design quality manager. I've been helping to build a few different indications for some of you that are kind of familiar with it. I helped create the All on X design guide, so I've gone over and trained the team that's handling these cases. It's also our Lucid team that handles our anterior cases. So today we'll be going over both of our hybrid offerings, and yeah, we're excited to get started with this. Sam?
Yeah, my name's Samantha. I've been with FullContour almost 2 years, but I have a little dental laboratory experience, not as much as Cole, but nonetheless, I've been in there and it's been really exciting learning all of that and then bringing that over with FullContour. I also did a little bit with creating the denture design guide and the RPDs, so kind of just doing all the things with removables, so yeah.
Awesome, thanks, Sam. All right, so we'll jump right in. For those of you that are familiar with us, I mean, you guys know FullContour, we're design services, so we take pretty much anything from single unit crown all the way up to full arch screw attain hybrids and everything in between. So we offer several different indications, anything from, you know, model design, clear aligners, dentures, pretty much anything that can be done inside of 3Shape, we can handle that for you guys. This is our team here in Phoenix. So we have a customer support team and agent for each of our indications. So if you guys have any questions on any of our design indications, you guys can always feel free to chat in, and there's always going to be someone to help you out and guide you in the right direction as far as anything you're looking to achieve for design services. One of the things that
can I jump in here? I can see there's
sure.
European customers joining as well. So we also have a European team that can help you in different languages. We have Spanish, French, Italian, German, all the Scandinavian languages. We have Croatian as well. So we are also here to help you from Europe directly in your own time zone on all of the different indications as well.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tarik. One of the things we've done from the beginning is we've created these design guides throughout for each indication to help better communicate what you guys are looking to achieve on your designs. So we have, for example, our splint design guide, our lucid guide, our denture design guide, our standard design guide, smile design, and then of course for today that we're going to be going through is our All on X hybrid design. So all these guides that we have, we've implemented those into our platform. So anytime you drag and drop a case, you're going to have the ability to select all these codes that are going to be refer to the design that you're looking to achieve for that. Of course, today we're going to be going over our 2 hybrid indications. It's been a very exciting indication that we've launched. We've had some great success with it, and I'm really confident in our team and our designers and our support that's been going along with this. So it's a very exciting offering. I mean, some of you may know with hybrids, it can be quite complex design. We have everything from ridge lapping issues, tissue concavities, implant locations, border placement, screw access holes, cantilever lengths. We have all these things that are super important and super crucial when dealing with a hybrid. So one of the things we wanted to do prior to launching this was we wanted to make sure our design team was very well aware of all these different standards and what it takes to handle this type of case. So we've built an evaluation process for our team. So once they receive a case, they have to take it through a deep evaluation and make sure that we're, you know, all on the same page as far as making sure that the standard is followed. So if for some reason we receive a case and we feel as though there's maybe some discrepancy with the scan, or there's an issue with, you know, extended cantilever lengths that we don't feel is going to fall within our evaluation process, we will handle that for you. So we'll let you know what we suggest on that, and we'll place the case on hold and discuss with you further with how you want to move forward with that case. So we have some minimum requirements for our all-on-X design, and these are very important. And again, this ties back into the importance of evaluating that case. So if you want to submit a case for all-on-X, it's important to submit a full 3-shape order, and within that 3-shape order, we need to have, you know, the correct implant system that's going to go along with it. We also need to know what type of gingiva you're going to be using. Oftentimes we'll receive a case that the order won't contain gingiva, but the customer will ask for that. And it's just important to know that we need to have that all hashed out in the order prior to sending it to us, so we know exactly how to move forward with that. Also, length of centrals and pre-op. Any of you that are familiar with our Lucid offering, this is also something that we ask for up front on that as well. This just helps us establish the overall design. So if we have either one of these, it just makes it easier for us to evaluate the case and know how to move forward. And then lastly, the material that's used for the final restoration. So depending on the type of design you're going to be sending for our 2 hybrid indications, it's important for us to know what material you're going to be using for your final, because again, that ties back to how we're going to evaluate the case for strength and thickness and minimum thickness and things like that as we move through the design. So how to get started, it's very simple. If you guys have used our platform in the past, it's the same type of workflow. So after you create the case, you just simply drag and drop that onto our platform. Typically, if it's an implant bridge with gingiva inside of 3-shape, it's going to auto parse under the design type. So it'll automatically pick all-on-X, or in this case, the codes that I'm going to show you are for all-on-X prep. So I'll kind of walk through the different code variations that we have and the abilities of what you can choose for that. So the first thing we have here is if this is going to be an all-on-X prep, for example, we have the Trilor material, and I recommend you reaching out to Harvest or Trilor to make sure you get that DME in your system. That way, when it lands on our platform, we know exactly how to handle the case as far as, you know, standards for thickness and prep placement and things like that. They also have a great library that goes along with that we will utilize for the Trilor material. So it's important for us to know, again, what that material is up front in order for us to evaluate the case. From there, we get into gingival border placement. So by default, we're going to follow your pre-op to establish that border. And that's going to be your outer border and also your border around your implant locations. And then we also have, you know, this code here, the XB/S, and that's kind of similar to the default, but it's going to be, we're going to place that border to avoid any kind of bridge lapping or cavities. And then it's going to be between about 1/2 and 1.5 millimeters around the diameter of the actual implant. From there, we get into our prep placement. So we have a few different options here. Again, you'll see this first option is going to be, we're gonna follow that pre-op to establish where those preps are going to be placed. That'll also dictate where the margins are going to be placed. So we'll slightly drop the margins below what you've provided as your pre-op, so that we can establish that correct length according to the pre-op. But you do also have a couple different options as far as your margin placement and your thickness of how you want those crowns to be set over the top of your frame bridge. So from there, we get into our gingiva types. So for the all-on-X prepped, I recommend you guys, again, choosing what's going to follow through from the 3-shape order into the design. So if you're planning on doing like some light stacking of material on that, then just make sure you give us a value of how much you want us to cut that back, and then make sure that it's selected accurately in the order. Then we get into tissue pressure. So we have a few different options here, as you can see, as far as how much pressure you want on that tissue. Then we have our pre-op and wax up options. So let's say you have a beautiful wax up that someone did on this and you want to follow that exactly. Then we have that option in here for AWU, or if you want us to just follow it as like a guide and make the improvements, you have these two options that you can go with on that. Then lastly, if for some reason you're scanning this on tie bases and you need the screw access holes, I recommend that you choose this code here. That way we know to implement in those 3x5 holes where those implant locations are. Based on the implant system, most of the time that's going to auto populate those holes. But again, if you're scanning over tie bases, we'll just need to know that up front so that we can plug those in for you. Outside of that, I'll kind of go through the same process for our monolithic hybrid design. A lot of these codes you see will be very similar to the prep, and then of course we have some more aesthetic codes implemented into here as well. So one of the great things with our hybrid offering is we offer all of our Lucid codes come with the case. So all the design parameters, as far as your library, your line angles, your surface texture, all of that from Lucid carries over into our hybrid offering as well. So right here we have a few different libraries to choose from. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to go with one of these libraries. If you have a custom library that you would like to use, or something inside of 3Shape that's not shown on here, you just need to specify that in the order so we'll know what library to choose. As you can see, when we go through this guide, anything that's highlighted in green is our default. So if you were to drop a case on, meet the minimum requirements, but you're just kind of unsure and you're not really sure what to choose, maybe your first time working with a hybrid, we'll take care of that for you. Everything from the evaluation process to using our defaults as what we have on our platform. We have a few different options for occlusal placement and bite. So again, by default, we'll follow that wax up or the pre-approved pre-op that you send to us, so we can establish where that bite's going to be in reference to the opposing. But we do have a few different options here that you can deviate from that as well. From there, we get into our line angle placement. So again, these next few codes are going to be in reference to our Lucid offering as well. So if you're trying to fill a large space and you want to make the teeth look a little more symmetrical, you have a few different options to either broaden or narrow those line angles. One great thing about this team is they're very well trained to use the proposed library that comes with 3Shape. So they'll maintain all that anatomy by just making the proper moves to keep that nice detailed anatomy that you're expecting to see. That falls along the same lines with surface texture. So with the default, again, we're gonna maintain that proposed anatomy. But if you want to go a little more detailed or soften that texture, you'll have that option as well. And that goes the same for our lingual anatomy. This is our something that I'm very excited for, is our smile style. So even if you choose, let's say you go with cap library, but you want to customize the incisal edges a little more, give it a little more character, or you're dealing with an older patient and you want to, you know, maintain that smile that they currently have that fits their face. You'll have several different options here to choose from as far as customizing that. So for example, a mature design with a little more squared on the incisal edges for both mesial and distal. And if you're looking for a younger patient, you can go with this SS4 for more rounded incisal embrasures. Then from there, we have a few different options for midline placement. Again, by default, we'll follow either the pre-op or the lower papilla, depending on where that lines up in the mouth. But if you have a patient that wants to shift that in one direction for one reason or another, you can do that by selecting the code and entering the value. Necking we have here, this is going to be more so if you're planning to stack the porcelain for gingiva and you're not going to include gingiva. If you have some varying margin depths and where those implants are placed, we'll neck that for you by default. But you can also enter in a value where you want those necks placed. And again, this gingiva border placement is going to be the exact same process as the hybrid all-on-X prepped. So we'll follow that border that matches the existing pre-op. And then you get into gingiva cutback types. So again, this will follow the 3-shape order. So whatever's selected in that order, you're going to want to make sure that aligns with what you want to choose for if you're wanting a cutback or if you don't want any gingiva at all and you're planning to just stack that manually. Then we get into tissue definition. So we have a few different options here as far as how much detail and texture you want to add to that. By default, we'll go with a moderate texture, but if you want us to add a little more character, then of course you'll want to go with this XHD to give it a little more character to that. Again, tissue pressure, this follows the same for all-on-X prepped, just based on how much pressure you want between the scan and the bottom of the design. Then we have our wax up codes that I mentioned prior. Based on that pre-op that you send, you can, you know, follow that or make improvements to that as needed. And then we get into our manual screw access holes. So again, if this is on a tie base, it's crucial that you select this code for us to be able to know where to place those holes. And if you have a different size outside of 3x5, which is our default, you just need to specify that up front and we'll make sure we plug those in for you. So after you submit the case, your codes will show up here under design guide for what you've selected. And then it'll show the design type for what that was. And any additional instructions, you're just going to want to put in here under the instruction box. And you'll have this option over here for require design approval. That'll show up on all of the hybrid cases because that gives you the ability to actually view the case prior, make sure everything's good. If you need to redesign or if you have any adjustments that you want to make, you'll have that option. And you just simply send from there. So I kind of wanted to touch on our all-on-X prepped process, just so you guys are aware of how that works. It is a 2-step process. So initially, the bar substructure design will be designed, and we'll again place those preps depending on the codes that you've selected, or depending on the pre-op that's been submitted. So from there, after you get the case back and you verify the design and everything looks good and you're happy with it as far as spacing and where that arch is placed, you'll need to then copy and append that design to your scan, and then you'll resubmit it for your final crowns. And at this point, if it's something where you want to take it from there and design the crowns, you're free to do that. But I do highly recommend after you've approved this to send it back through the Lucid offering. That way the designer that worked on the initial design is also going to be taking care of the final crowns. So they're going to know all the details as far as the first design was done, so they can follow that exactly. And you'll get a beautiful outcome, as you can see over here. I'm going to show a video of how that process works, just for some of you that may not be aware, on the copy and append. So once you've downloaded the case and brought it into your system, I recommend just doing a 3D preview. That'll pull up. You can kind of view it from all angles, make sure everything looks good as far as the placement, the tissue pressure, the border, where those preps are in reference to the pre-op. your spacing between the occlusal surfaces. And once you're okay with that and everything looks good, we can close that out. And then you're going to want to right click on the order, go down to copy. Just do a copy and append CAD design preparation scan. And that's going to recreate a new order. So from there, you're going to want to clear this out. And depending on how you want the final crowns to go, you'll have a few different options. I've seen people do 3 segmented bridges, or in this case, I'm going to just do single units all the way across the board. Choose your material. Just choose like a defaulted material in here. And now you have the case created for your final crowns that are going to go over that prepped bridge. You don't need to rescan. So then once that's done, you can just go back in, 3D preview it, make sure that those two, make sure that it has been copied and appended. So you can see here again that that's been now as one scan. The pre-op will carry over through that, so that'll also help us establish, the length, the width, and where those final crowns are going to be designed. Then from there, you'll simply just take this and send it just like you typically do, whether that's through the button or through an export. And you'll go ahead and export that as a file and drag and drop that back onto our platform and submit it for the Lucid offering. And again, at this step, it's totally up to you if you want to take that on as far as the design goes. Another thing I wanted to touch on with this offering is we do have our doctor approval app that comes with this. It comes with all NX designs. So this is a pretty awesome feature as well that we have built in. So you can send this link to your doctor and they'll be able to simply click on a link and they can do this from their mobile phone. You're just going to want to copy that access token. And then once you launch from the link, you can paste the access token and that'll prompt you. You'll see here in a minute, that'll prompt you to accept the terms. So once you accept those terms, then your customer or your doctor will have the ability to view all of our screenshots, our video summary, our quality control images, the STL. And another awesome thing is you can also put your lab logo on this, so it looks like it's coming from your lab and all of your information is on here. So each hybrid case comes with like a 15 to 30-second video of just the overall design. You can also click on this STL file option here and rotate that around, get a really good example of what that looks like, check any ridge lapping or concavities. Also, to go along with that, we have all the quality control images that are on our platform are available through here as well. So you can scroll through, and these also include our evaluation process. So you'll see some of these screenshot images show a pretty good demonstration of the different evaluation process that we do, our occlusal view of where that border is going to be placed. So pretty much I feel as though all these screenshots will give you plenty of, along with the video, plenty of information as far as how that design looks. And we also put a tag in there as far as who designed the case. From there, if everything looks good, you can simply click this checkbox here and then enter the doctor name, and they can either approve and manufacture or request for it to be redesigned with any details as far as what that's going to be. And then you just simply submit from there. So it's a pretty awesome feature that we have built in for a lot of our indications. So I highly recommend you guys using it. Again, it's great that you can put in your own logo in that just to kind of give it your own personal touch. So with this offering, it is an all-inclusive fee per arch. So it's $199 per arch. It comes with our All NX design team, which also is part of our Lucid team. So you get that detail as far as your aesthetics and contours and balance and all of that with our experienced team are gonna handle that. It can be any number of units, 4 implants or more. And then also, again, the video summary with the doctor approval app. One thing I wanted to mention too with this is with our prepped hybrid, that is the 199 is for this portion of the design. So if you wanted to resubmit it again for the Lucid portion of it, you will be charged per unit on the Lucid crowns for that as well. So just something I wanted to mention for that. Kind of wanted to just take the time now to go through any questions you guys have. If you guys want to chat in any questions, or Tarik, Samantha, I'm sure we probably have had a few come in, so feel free to let us know what any questions you guys have on this.
Actually, there's nothing yet. So guys, feel free to ask us. We're here to support you. And also this email support@fullcontour.com, also for just to awareness of the European customers, you can use that, but it will go to European team when you send an email to there. So it will go to our support girls that are sitting in support here in Europe.
Another quick thing too, I want to just mention is we are continuing to build more indications as far as what can tie into our hybrids offerings. So I'll be sure to, I mean, I'm sure you guys will hear as we're looking into like a bar design that's similar to our Trilor substructure design. So we will always be updating this and bringing more indications in. So I know some of our European customers have asked about a bar design with a hybrid over the top of that. So it is something that we're going to be working on. So we'll be releasing that at some point.
I don't think we have any questions, guys.
All right. Well, if you guys come up with anything if you're forgetting right now and you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're happy to discuss. If you want to send a case and you have any questions, just reach out to our support team. And if they have anything they need to get in touch with me, I'd be happy to get on a call and work out any questions you guys have as far as case submission and evaluation and all of that.
Yeah, we as a business development team, we use for these type of restorations, we include Cole a lot. So he's also really nice on jumping on calls with us and helping you to get the perfect design that suits you. So feel free to reach out to us. Thank you all for joining us, and thank you, Cole and Samantha, for introducing me to this.